Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here with Jacob and this is our Halloween special. So this being said, if you are troubled by violence, murder, creepiness, click off. If you want to stay here and get low-key terrified, stay. However, I did want to show this piece of fan art that I'm going to put on the screen now. Thank you so much for drawing me. I am always so excited when I see that you guys take time to just draw someone like me. And if you do draw me, always tweet me and let me know so I can feature you and credit you, and their link will be in the description.
Yeah, she really does enjoy it. She always shows me when I get home. So this is the story of Danielle LaPlante. In 1987, a woman by the name of Priscilla Gustafson was found dead in a pool of her own blood on her bed. She had been shot twice in the head. In the downstairs bathroom, Priscilla's two young children, 8-year-old Abigail and 5-year-old William, were found in the bathtub. They had been drowned. The murderer was 17-year-old Danielle LaPlante.
Jesus Christ. The thing is, like, anytime I imagine killers, I always imagine them as middle-aged men. And that's mainly because when I watch shows, it's like, oh, middle-aged white man, whatever. So 17, that is so young.
Yeah, they actually say that most serial killers actually kill at the first time around, like, their mid to upper 20s, like 26, 27. Anyway, okay, so they discover Danielle LaPlante to be the murderer. So, upon further investigation, law enforcement stumbled upon a story about LaPlante that took place about a year before his triple homicide. Whether or not this story is true or not, it became somewhat of an urban legend, and this is really where it, gets creepy.
Shit's about to get fucked up.
Okay, so in 1986, two young girls named Annie and Jessica Andrews began to get phone calls from a boy claiming he received their number from a mutual friend. Eventually, Annie had begun to like this boy, and through conversations, they agreed to meet and go on a date. To her disappointment, LaPlante did not look like how he described himself.
So this is where Neve and Max should have been. Like, forget what they're doing now. This is where catfish was necessary.
Yeah, because this is like, he's the creepy catfish.
Yeah, this is about to be next level fucked up, like catfish murder edition.
Yeah. So Annie, she was a kind girl, so she proceeded with the date anyways. But she wouldn't seek a second one. It ended there, So
this is where shit is gonna get really fucked up.
Because I don't think this guy handles rejection very well.
No.
Not long after, the two girls' mother died from cancer, and with a single father, his name was Brian Andrews, he had to work a lot to make ends meet. So the girls found themselves alone often in the house, and allegedly they held a seance to contact their mother from beyond the grave when their father was not home. And then later that night, they start to hear knocking on the walls. So they think the seance worked, and they begin to ask questions directed towards this spirit that they thought was the spirit of their mother, and the spirit obliged with knocks. So like eventually the activity started to evolve. It grew more violent, and easygoing knocks, soft knocks became just loud and just incredibly violent. Yeah, and possessions started to go missing, furniture would be moved around, and the girls even started suspecting that they had something like a demon, and not their mother, but they knew something was insidious was happening, and then it made them get so afraid that they began to tell their father about this, and
that just, to me, sounds like such a horror movie kind of thing, Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen movies with this exact, like you're trying to contact some kind of dead relative and you're really happy because you're like, wow, I really want to talk to my mom again, which is what makes this so horrifyingly sad, because they must have had that inkling of hope of like, wow, we're contacting her again. And then you figure out that it's not that. That's fucking brutal.
It's creepy, yeah, and it only gets worse, of course. So, of course, Brian, he's a logical man, that guy Brian, so he brushes it off. He's like, okay, no more talk of ghosts. You guys are being ridiculous. Your imaginations are just running wild. You're little girls. So, eventually, the activity continued to the point where one day the girls armed themselves with a kitchen knife, and they looked for the cause of noises coming from within the walls. And there they discovered a message written what they thought was blood, and it said, "I'm in your room, come find me." And of course, scared shitless, they alerted the neighbors, and the father came home to find that the message was not written in blood, it was written in ketchup. So he scolded his daughters, thinking they were responsible for this sick joke.
That's really like real life horror, because in so many times in the real life horror, there's that moment where everyone doubts you and people don't think it's real, and they dismiss and they dismiss and they dismiss until it's too fucking late.
Yeah.
Which is what makes this so scary, you know? I just don't know how the daughters could sleep or function in a house that they thought was like demonically possessed or something.
Yeah. It's creepy. Okay. Yeah, it keeps getting creepier, by the way. So after that, things calmed down for a time, but eventually, of course, the activity began again. And the girls were determined to track down the cause of the noise, you know, and eventually they heard a noise in Annie's bedroom, and they armed themselves with a knife, and they'd go up to the bedroom, and they discovered another message, and it says, "I'm back, find me if you can." So once again, they go to the neighbors, and this is where stories about this kind of vary. Based on my research, I'm going to combine the two, or combine a few, and then I'm giving you the most plausible, my theory of what happened. So Brian, the father, comes home, and despite his daughters pleading with him to not go into the house because they think someone dangerous is in there, he goes in anyways. The first thing he notices is that all the TVs have been turned on. And the neighbors had said, no, there was no TVs on when we were there looking. So he proceeds to Annie's bedroom, and he finds a message. And again, he discovers it's written in ketchup. So then Brian starts hearing strange noises, almost like scuffling, and then eventually in the corner of his eye, he catches a glimpse of, you know, a young man.
So this is where shit is about to get even more fucked up, and if you think it's bad now, this is fucking creepy.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a young man, and he's wearing his dead wife's clothing with smeared makeup or face paint, wearing a blonde wig, and he's wielding a hatchet. Of course, when he discovers him, it causes a confrontation, so Brian is forced to fight off his attacker, and he notifies the police, but they don't find the young man, the perpetrator. So the family, Brian and his two daughters, they decide to stay with relatives for a short time, maybe a couple weeks, and after deciding the threat might be over, they kind of reluctantly decided, okay, maybe we should return home. We scared him off. He knows, you know, we're aware of his presence. So.
No. I would never go back. I would fucking go into like victim protection, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Because that is so scary. Like going back, even just having those memories there.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so when they pull into the driveway after coming back to their home, this motherfucker is standing there, staring back at them from inside the house through a window. And obviously they're fucking mortified, because they're like, okay, he's still here. And they, once again, they notify the police and neighbors, and the neighbors actually help the father surround the house so they make sure that this kid doesn't get away with this time. When the police arrive, you know, they start searching the house, and they actually notice a small crawl space behind a piece of furniture. I've heard it's a cabinet, I've heard it's a washer, so just a piece of furniture. And then they move the piece of furniture, and in this little crawl space they find, of course, Danielle LaPlante. And after they arrest him, they search the house even further and discover that he had been camping inside the walls of this home. They found beer cans, a sleeping bag, food wrappers. He'd been living there the whole time.
You know, when I hear stories like this, it makes me want to knock down all the walls just to make sure that no one's fucking living there.
Yeah.
Like, I remember even Shane Dawson covered this one thing where a woman was living in the attic of some dude's house.
Yeah, that's a similar story to this one.
Like,
except for this one was definitely far more insidious because this guy,
yeah,
he became a triple murderer, as we know. So
that's so scary, and it must be even scarier for them, you know, like, because the murder happened after this, right?
Yeah, it happened a year afterwards, so they could have been first.
Yeah, exactly, and imagine them finding out that this is what he actually did to another family.
Yeah.
Like, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Another fact, he had glued pennies to the ceiling, and he had taken every bit of their clothing and jerked off on it while they were gone, staying with a relative. So.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's so creepy. It's so wild to me that he was just 17 too.
17, yeah.
That is so scary.
And you wonder where were his parents, you know? But
yeah, that's what I was wondering.
That's a whole another story, and a whole. This whole case is a rabbit hole, and we have to do it in a shorter period of time, but I recommend people researching it if they're interested in this case because it's very bizarre, and there's a lot of lines that get blurred with the story, which is kind of why it's such a urban legend, which I find fascinating. So
yeah, and then in the description I'll put in the link of where Jacob found some information.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll post a picture of LaPlante when he was arrested at this time and age for you, so you know what this creep looks like.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
I hope you liked our Halloween creepy special, and we'll see you next time.